Stoicism is ruining young men, and this is getting worse and worse. I'm seeing it all over the internet, and I was hoping that by teaching Stoicism and by writing a book on Stoicism, I would help people, especially young men, because I remember when I was a young man, I'm still young, but when I was a young man, I was looking for answers. I was vulnerable and needed that guidance, and I thought Stoicism could be the answer, and I was hoping to share that with people. But I'm seeing now that men are becoming cold, emotionless, apathetic, careless, and it's not looking good. All over the internet now, on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, you're seeing these videos like how to get any woman you want using Stoicism, how to never be disrespected, how to become a millionaire, how to stop caring, how to suppress your emotions, all these things about Stoicism. And I've actually seen threads online about women talking about Stoicism has ruined their husband or ruined their son or ruined their brother or father. And it's not good. And the reason this is happening again and again and again is because you have these charismatic speakers and self-help gurus that have adopted and cherry-picked certain teachings from Stoicism, and they're using it for their own gain, and they know their audience, which is vulnerable young men that are looking for answers like me when I was younger, and they're sharing certain cherry-picked parts of Stoicism with their audience and directing them where they want to go. And that's the problem, is Stoicism had a direction, but these gurus have picked up some teachings of Stoicism and directed these young men in a certain direction. And this isn't Stoicism. This is what people have started to call Broicism, which is this strange adaptation of Stoicism. And the reason it's bad is, like I said, yeah, there's some valid quotes and principles that are being taught that are very in line with Stoicism, but the person telling it is creating the narrative and the direction and saying, hey, you need to move towards getting money, getting success, getting all the women, getting what you want, not caring. And it's this direction of hedonism, which isn't compatible with Stoicism. Stoicism's never about coming out on top, getting all the women, getting all the money, being an alpha. And it's all getting muddled up, and it's not good. So hopefully with this video, I'm just going to clear up a few things to know that Stoicism isn't about being emotionless. It's not about hedonism. And no, Stoicism, if you just read the original text, the original literature, or writings from a good modern day writer like Donald Robertson, Massimo Pigliucci, you'll start to understand that Stoicism is completely not this thing about being emotionless. So, welcome back to day 28 of 100 Stoic School with the author of the Everyday Stoic. Today's episode is powered by Huel. Let's jump into the episode. So, Stoicism is about being emotionless, cold, heartless. And this is a complaint I'm seeing a lot, and a lot of people send me messages. And actually, I see a lot of people who like what I teach, and they're like, yeah, I'm trying to be emotionless too, but I don't understand what you're saying about this. You've completely misunderstood Stoicism. It's not about being emotionless. The way I like to explain it is like, before Stoicism, you stood in a river, a raging river, and it's threshing, and it's trying to drag you under, and the river is obviously your emotions. It's dragging you under, dragging you away, anger this way, excitement that way, lust, greed, and it's all dragging you around. And it's just hard to think clearly when you're being dragged by your emotions. So the Stoic is stood on the banks looking at these things. So the emotions are still there. We can't get rid of our emotions. That would be only when we die. So if you want to get rid of your emotions, it only comes when you die. We've always got emotions, and they're there for a reason. The ones we call negative are there for a good reason. It's just when they become a bit too much for us, that's when they're bad. So it's like standing on the riverbanks, observing your emotions, and assessing them, assessing the situation. Should I run with this? What is this trying to teach me? I feel a bit angry. Why? You feel angry because there is injustice. That's what anger is there for. When there is injustice, we feel angry. It's this emotion that doesn't feel too good, and it pushes us towards action. So the Stoics never, none of the Stoics ever talk about suppressing your emotions. They say they're natural. You have the Stoic on the ship. There was a Stoic traveling with a load of merchants, and there was a big storm, and they almost died, and the Stoic went pale and he was shaking, and someone tried to kind of mock the Stoic, saying, hey, you talk about not getting emotional, but you looked like you was very frightened, very upset. And he says, I was. The storm, we almost died. It was scary. What I didn't do, though, is start screaming, making it worse. I didn't add to this. I can't stop that my body is scared of being in a violent storm, but I didn't make it worse. I didn't complain, and surely when the storm was over, I didn't keep talking about it, making it worse. So these things are natural. Emotions are natural. Do not suppress them. Do not hide from them. You see, today, and this is what this new Broicism is making worse, is you get an emotion, and these, we'll call them Broics. That's a terrible word. We'll call them Broics. They're saying to us, forget about it. Just forget about that emotion. Go to the gym, get your head down, use it as fuel for your fire. The thing is, if you go for a breakup and then use these emotions just as fuel in the gym, all you're doing is hiding from it for a long time until eventually one day you have to face it, or unless you just never decide to face this. I remember Chris Bumstead, bodybuilder, he was talking about this, saying, these men, they go to the gym and they keep suppressing it. And it seems good whilst you're at the moment, it's distraction. But eventually you've got to come to terms with these negative emotions, these feelings, these problems. You have to find the answer. Otherwise, they just haunt you forever and they hang on to you and they just get bottled up. That's why we see a lot of angry people, especially with people practicing Broicism, why they get so angry and bitter about the world, is they're just suppressing all their emotions. And if you don't fight the war outside, then you'll begin the battle within. So they rage a battle within, and it's not nice. It creates all these, it can create illnesses, it can make you sick. And then eventually they start to project certain stuff and they blame the world for how they feel. Stoicism's not about blaming the world. Stoicism's about accepting the world and focusing on what you can control and coming to terms with all these things. So Stoicism is not about being emotionless. It's not about being cold. Stoics can have loved ones. Stoics can get married. Stoics can have friends. The Stoics talk about this. The ancient Stoics talk about saying friends and good mentors. They said it was the second most important thing in life, just under the virtues, good friends and good mentors. So asking for help as well is can be Stoic. People think, I'm not Stoic, I'm Stoic, I'm not going to ask for help, I'm going to bottle everything up, get on with it myself. Marcus Aurelius, the Emperor King, he talks about this, the philosopher king. He says it's like soldiers scaling the walls. The soldier that refuses the help over the wall is the one that gives up. So by refusing help, you give up on the mission. And that's the same in life. If you're struggling with things, if you refuse help, then you're giving up on getting past this thing. But asking for help is refusal to give up. You're putting your ego aside and saying, someone else knows the answer and they may be able to help me. And they can help me. And if your ego's that fragile that you can't accept help, here's a little thing for you, a little bit of advice. First of all, that's ridiculous. People are here to help. People love you. People want to care for you. But even if it's still, you can't get past that fragility, here's the best advice. Think to yourself, this person's going to help me now, so I can help them later. And that's a good way of thinking about things that can help you get over it. And I'm not saying you have to, it's not a contractual thing. I'm not saying you have to do this, but I think that can help a lot of young men, is if you accept help from someone, you're saying, right now, I can't get over this hill. They're going to help me over so I can keep climbing and climbing. And one day I'll be able to reach back and help them over. And so repeats the cycle of helping each other. It's great when we learn to put our ego aside and accept help, because we can get over the hill in a second. I know a lot of people feel like that. I've felt like that, where you bottle something up for so long and eventually for some reason it all explodes out and someone says, oh, why didn't you tell me sooner? Yeah, I can help with this. And then you're left thinking, why did I bottle this up for so many years when I could have just got help in 10 minutes? A quick word from our sponsor, Huel. I really like Huel. When I was writing my book, I was using Huel to power me through every single day. When I had my daily greens, when I had my meals, when I had my shakes, it stopped me from going to the shop, buying a load of rubbish, buying a load of unhealthy food, wasting loads of money. And these things do add up. Those quick journeys to the shop every day, the money adds up, the unhealthy foods add up, the wasted time adds up. So if I ever get those cravings, I grab a Huel and it fills my cravings. I feel good, it tastes delicious, it's quick and easy. And if you have any interest in the Huel products, then check the link in the description. Let's get back to the episode. The next is when it comes to the hedonistic approach to Stoicism about getting money, living this life of pleasure. The Stoics warn against this. Emperor Marcus Aurelius, obviously being emperor, you'll think he's super rich, which he had access to immeasurable wealth. He was probably one of the wealthiest men to ever be on earth. And in his book, his meditations, he says that from his mother, and bear in mind, his mother, she was very, very wealthy. She owned a building company that supplied the materials for the Colosseum, for the Pantheon. So she's a very wealthy woman. And she taught him from a young age to stay clear of the habits of the rich. He talks about not being dyed in purple, which is, the rich people wore purple. He's saying, don't be dyed in purple. Be careful not to be Caesified, because he was Caesar. He warns a lot against all these things, about greed and having all this expensive food that all these rich people drank and ate. And he just says it's none of it's good. It leads to greed and excess. So the Stoics really warn against this. And Epictetus even say it's not that we have little that makes us poor, it's that we desire so much that makes us poor. So it's this idea of desire that makes us feel poor, this wanting, always wanting. You want that Bugatti, let's say, and you keep wanting it. I want this Lamborghini. You feel like you lack something because you don't have it. You can still work. I'm not saying get rid of all your aims, give up on aims. If you want a nice car in life, that's up to you. But don't feel like you lack something. Do the steps that get you there. If you want to start a business that makes you rich enough to buy a Lamborghini, then don't say I need a Lamborghini. I need a Lamborghini. I need a Lamborghini. Say I'm starting this company that's going to help people, and in turn it might make money. Whatever. You're taking the same steps to get there, but you don't feel like you lack something, and you're in a more positive frame of mind. You're working from a place of positivity, a place of being. Moving towards something with little effort, feeling like it's good, rather than crawling through something. It's the same destination in a way, but you feel better along the way. You're enjoying the journey. And that's what it's all about. Life is 99% the journey. But people put off the happiness to get to the destination. If you want that Lamborghini, people will be upset until they get that Lamborghini. Whereas you can be happy, enjoying the whole journey, and maybe one day you never get a Lamborghini. You enjoyed the whole 99.9%, and then you get to it and you go, I was happy anyway. Or you get it and you enjoyed the journey and you enjoyed the destination, or you put off all your happiness and you still don't get the reward and you're just miserable. And that's why we see a lot of people, they delay all the happiness to get a reward, and the reward is never good. You see these heavyweight boxers, these World Cup winners, they finally get the thing they wanted and they're even more depressed. They feel worse because the reward won't change your life. It lasts for a second. It's this elation for a short, brief moment. So you got to enjoy the journey. So Stoicism is not about being emotionless. It's not about hedonism. Stoicism is about focusing on what you do control, your internal world, your character, how you respond to the external world. So no matter what's going on around you, you always have the power to choose how you respond. And how do you respond? Well, using wisdom, you understand what is good in this world. Virtue is good. So using wisdom to understand that virtue is good, you respond to the world in a good way. So hopefully that clears up this misconception of Stoicism, because I really want to clear it up, because I don't want this idea to get out of hand. So hopefully I can clear that up. It's cleared up. If you read my book, it's cleared up. But that is it for day 28 of 100. Stoic School. Subscribe so you don't miss next episode, which is tomorrow, episode 29. I'm doing this for 100 days. Have a wonderful day, and thank you for listening.